live now. Yeah, you're live. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's like I'm sounding like because I had said I greeted before, I'm greeting again. you know, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day wherever you are. You're welcome to Partnering for Academic Success in 2025. Yeah, and I know that no one say I but it's prayer I used to do now, but I'm also an educator. So today we're going to be looking at, my name is Irene Oba, and I'm joined with together Ivy Abadom. Ivy, did I get the pronunciation of your name well, of your
Yeah,
surname?
you did a perfect. Abadun.
Yes, because I know Mommy Chi corrected us one time when we used to say Abadom,
Abi.
like abandoned. and, so, and I remember one time she said it's Abadom. So I
Is
think it's stuck
it's
to me.
actually Abadum.
Okay.
But
Then why am I
the
not
one you
seeing
said
you
it's also okay.
on Facebook?
You said?
Okay. Okay. I'm not seeing you on Facebook. You just disappeared for a while. You went blank.
Mm.
Hmm. So it's still like this.
Why did I go blank?
I don't even understand. Is it Facebook thing? Oh, okay.
Mm.
No, it's not. Hello, people. I'm just trying to. Okay, so I've seen you now. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So you're welcome to Partnering for Academic Success in 2025. Like I said, I'm an educator. People see me more as good morning, Shantella, always supporting. People see me more as a prayer person, but really I'm an educator. That is actually my first calling. I don't even know whether to call it second calling right now, anyway. But that's my first calling, education. And I've been in it. I've been a school director. I was a school director for 7 years. I have a master's in education, postgraduate diploma in education, and then first degree in geography. And here I'm joined with Abadom. Abadom first school when my son was Daniel went to your church now when he
Okay,
was
he
three
did.
months old.
Okay.
Yes, now.
Okay.
Yes, in
Okay.
Guaripa. Yeah, and
Mm.
Daniel is going to 20 years now. So
Oh.
you have been in this space for almost, let's say, 20 years now. At different,
Yes,
but it's
about
one
yes, about
different
that.
half
About
though.
that, yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So today we're going to be looking at what are the things we need. This is a new year, you know, and with new year comes new opportunities, new challenges as well, and new prospects. We're going to be looking at how do we help. We're going to be looking at the parents, the teachers, the school leaders, the students themselves. What do we do to make sure that the school year is better? The academic, the learning outcome of the children is better. What are those things we need to do? So that is what we're going to be unpacking one by one. And I have Ivy here. Ivy's joining me all the way from UK. Is that how people call it? UK?
Yeah. In it.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So thank you all. Stay tuned. So Ivy, what's the first thing you want to touch on? Let's start with parents first of all. What are those things? There's always this bickering in school. Sometimes it looks as if, especially for those of people from the side of the world where we all come from, Nigeria, there's always that thing is like the school is one side, the parents are one side. I don't pay school fees. What I want. So there's that, but research has shown that parental involvement with the school is what produces the result, the desired result
Exactly.
we
Mm-hmm.
all want to see. So if the parent is a loggerhead with the school, with the teacher, you find out that you're not going to achieve as much result as you really, really desire. So let's start unpacking it. Ivy, let me leave the floor for you. What do you think?
Okay. Thank you for having me, Irene. Thank you for this forum. I think it's very important that we understand that these conversations are necessary. And in a sense, we're not there yet. Nobody runs a perfect school, nobody's a perfect parent, and definitely nobody's a perfect teacher or student. But these conversations help to mold us so that we always go back to the drawing board, correct areas that we need to correct, and move on from there. Okay, that being said, I think parent involvement is so crucial because um, between the parents and the schools, there should be some kind of partnership going on. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, what each party wants is that there's this synergy and that the progress of the child is uttermost in the minds of both of them. So at every point in time, there should be that synergy, there should be that connection, there should be that partnership, so that there's a free line of communication. There's, as a parent, I have my expectations, what I want for my child, and the school academically, socially should be able to meet those expectations. Likewise, the school, you want every child that passes through your school, you have your expectations for them. And so what the expectations of the parents are should come in fusion with the expectations of the school. So it's a partnership. It's something that's so crucial, very, very crucial. It's something that we can't walk around or avoid. We have to be involved. Parents should be 100% involved in their children's education. The school should also be 100% involved with the parents, that they are taking care of their children. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ivy. So now we know that there is, that synergy must be there. And I know that being an educator, there's a difference between parental involvement and parental engagement, which is another story for another day. But the most important thing is that that partnership is there. So now I'm going to be looking at, first of all, parents. I want to unpack certain things for us in this new school year. First is communication. You know, I there is no relationship works without communication. So the same way with the school relationship. If you're not communicating, if the school is communicating to you and you're not responding, there's going to be a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are not also communicating to the school, there's also going to be a breakdown. Okay, Ivy, I don't know what happened,
No,
you
I'm
know.
still there. I'm still there. I'm just trying to get something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's still going to be a breakdown. So the point I'm trying to make is that there must be, each party has to communicate and respond. And now this brings me to one crucial, especially for the early years, communication book. I want to ask parents, why is it that parents do not like to sign that book? They don't even like to read it. And now these conversations we are unpacking is from our experience as like school directors, who have been with children, who have been in the school space. You see, a child has a communication book. A teacher has written, um, Miss Ada can now do so and so, or Miss Ada does not eat noodles when it is whatever.
Mm.
A week after, the same thing the teacher wrote is still in the communication book, is still being brought back. The same noodles that Ada will not eat, the same thing the teacher complained brought in the communication book. Ada's stationery, whatever is missing. Please, could you check if it's at home? Now we're looking at early years first of all. You find out that because the parents did not read that thing, she will still come back without those things. So and you know that the way our school is structured is either there's somewhere they are going to pick the children up from. So sometimes they don't even have that interface with the teacher one-on-one. So the only way of communicating, especially for most early years, is the communication book, and the
Definitely.
parent is not reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also have the ones where the teachers also write and parents do not also check. But my major concern first is the one that the parents do not read and the parents do not acknowledge and parents do not respond for early years. Then you also have the one of the older children whom they don't give communication book anymore, but parents are supposed to communicate with the school. Now, your older child is having challenge. You've requested that you need to see the parent, and the parent doesn't show up, or the parent tells you they are busy. So, one of the things I want parents to do in 2025 is take communication with your children's school very serious. From the communication book, even if you don't want to have your signature on communication, we know some of you are my maybe director of CBN, you're the one that signs the currency. So maybe your signature is not supposed to be on communication book. You can have an alternative signature that you use,
Mm-hmm.
you can have an alternative signature that you could use, to sign, for that. But make sure that your child's communication book is read and it's signed for early years. And for the older classes, have a way. I know that there are schools have different, they have Google Classroom, Dojo, and so on. I remember when we implemented Google Classroom, it was chaos, whether the
Definitely.
parents will go to where they're not supposed to write in. So, but I know that things evolve. So some schools have, you know, computerized system of communicating with the schools. But whichever be, whether it's computer or human face or whatever, communication with your children's school is very, very important. You cannot be paying those millions and you don't even know what is happening to your children, or you're not responding. And when you come for communication, there's also, and I remember when they call parents for communication, the first thing is you're coming with a confrontational attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I want us to settle this thing. The school is not against you. The school is not against you. And I also want the school to settle another reason that the parents brought their children to your school means that the parents are not also against you, you know. So, and that is why from the beginning, not every good school is good for your child. You need to settle that as well. Know the school you're taking your child to.
Mm-hmm.
However, when they call you for communication, don't come with a confrontation. I remember when my son was 5 years or 6 years, then when we were with your sister, they were unique blossoms together with
Yes.
your
Mm-hmm.
sister's children.
And
Daniel, you know
our
that
journey has been long. Oh,
it's been long now. The OG before the IG, you
oh
know.
my God.
So I remember Daniel went, and Daniel has never, we've never had any cause for them to call us in school. But they now said, Daniel, I should appear in school. Apparently, my husband traveled, that Daniel hit somebody and blood was coming out in the head.
Hmm.
Now, I know the first thing most parents do is to come with defense. You're
Mm.
coming all defensive. My child cannot lie. My child cannot. I've seen parents swear with the grave of their great grandparents. My child did not do this. Parents be calming down. So I got to Daniel's school that morning, and apparently my son was standing. He was looking. He was, it's where it was very fair and very red and everything. Daniel, did you do this? Yeah. And he did this to me. He did that to me. Now I didn't come with all that kind of aggression of what were you people doing? This kind of thing. And why should my child? No. I came with the
Mm-hmm.
approach of how do we solve this problem?
Yeah.
Now,
Exactly.
apparently, the boy he even went to hit was my colleague's son. There where we were working together before, we're colleagues. And the mother landed and I landed, and we now started laughing. Like, oh, is it you? You know. But the approach I came with the approach of, I did that place be a bit dark. Did you off the light?
Mm. Okay, where I
Okay.
am, ba.
Yes.
Okay, don't worry. I'll put it on. The light is not on.
Okay. Okay. So, but I came with the approach of, let's see how we can solve this problem. Not the approach of, you have failed as a school, and no. So the approach of even communication matters.
Yes.
Okay, Ivy. So let's move on to another thing. Let's not spend so much time on communication.
Okay. Okay. Am I the
Yes.
okay? There's a lot, like you said, to talk about, but let us talk about. We're talking about things that we should put in place in the year 2025, and there's
Yeah.
so much to. I don't know. I don't even know where to start. But let's start from this. Let me talk about school culture. And we see that in today's world, things have changed. I mean, way back when I was in primary school, I can imagine these things I call challenges for me as a child. Now I look at my children and I think that if they were in my world, they would have just, thought that life was so easy and simple, because now so many complications. I mean, we're dealing with so many things. There's all that the internet is churning out and giving our children. There's a lot to take on. So as schools, as school owners, as parents, as teachers, we must be aware that these children that we are dealing with are not the same kind of children that we dealt with even as little as 5 years ago. They've evolved, they've changed. Why? Because of the environment in which we live in now. I was telling somebody recently, I said that the world is now so small that things that are happening in the States, Nigerian children, they're receiving it immediately. It's happening. They're having the
Yeah.
same conversations that they're having with their counterparts in the US, their counterparts in China, and different parts of the world. So if we begin to look at our children as if, okay, there are these kind of children that we were dealing with 10 years ago, we'll be making a huge mistake. So we must, in 2025, as school owners, as parents, as teachers, begin to accommodate the new trends that are going in with our children. I'm not talking about trends like fashion and things like that, but the way they think. Children are thinking faster than us. So I deal with my children. I mean, I have my children, their ages range between 21 to my boys are 13. They turned 13 in October last year. And the info they have, I used to think I had so much information, but the info they have now, I have to begin to, on my own, do my own research at a faster rate so that I can catch up with them and get into their minds and try to understand the conversations they're having so that I know how to deal with them as individuals. I wrote to you, and I told you, I said in my children's school in when they were in Enugu, they would come and they would be having conversations with each other and be talking about their English teachers' grammar. I'm saying, oh, she said this, she said that, and I'm like, when is this happening? Because they've gone way beyond that. They learn off the internet, and they're way beyond their years in terms of information that they can just get and the snap of a finger. And so schools, we must be prepared for that. We must be prepared for that onslaught because it's happening, and it's taking over everything. It's shaping the culture of the schools now, because you find that the things that we thought were issues before, now they're no longer issues. I mean, things that children are dealing with, we're not even touching the surface. For example, I said I would talk extensively about mental health of children. They watch something online, and then they come with all these mindsets, and then they come to school, and then they're relating with children on that level. And then we as schools, we're not even there yet. We are dealing with 1972 package in our heads. The files in our heads are that old. The children are dealing with much more recent issues, and they know so much. Nowadays, when you say you want to tell your children about the world and this thing, when you're talking to them, they're laughing. They're like, is this, no, 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 this is not it. We're way beyond that. They're so mature for their age. So we have to catch up. We have to literally just, I don't know, relearn many things that we used to know in the past. So with regarding mental health, there's so many things that our children are getting online that is affecting them negatively, and we don't actually know it. So as a school, I think in this year, that's one thing we have to seriously look at. Where are our children? Where are they at? What are they listening to? What are the new things that they're hearing? What are the things that are taking on the conversations? Like when we had that issue years back with that little girl, that they had that Dubai trip and all of that was happening. And, we were shocked that, how could this girl know so much, about this particular issue? But you find that all they need to do is just go on TikTok. All that information is readily there. And then you saw parents scrambling, and schools, they were having conversations like, ooh, how is this happening? How are children? This, all that was happening. But it's just the simple reason was that we were not moving as fast as our children, not even nearly as fast. I mean, our children are way beyond us in things, and we're still dealing with issues. Look at the Nigerian curriculum. Look at things we have to deal with. I mean, we're
Okay.
still dealing
Let's
with.
not even rush to curriculum.
No, I mean, even academics. I mean, I'm talking about what we have, what we are teaching our children.
Mm.
You know, these are
Yeah, because
things
I
that,
want us to look at, okay, that one vis-a-vis the school owners. That's the school
yes,
leaders themselves. Yeah, we have the, of course, you know that of course curriculum comes from the school managers, ministers, and all,
yes, mm-hmm.
but we also look at it from the school leaders angle. So, but I just wanted to pass a thought on that, because as we're having the conversation, I think you could do something about your light so that people can see you.
Okay, just
Like
give
the
me.
light went on.
Okay, just keep talking. Let me take 2 minutes and put it on.
Okay, no problem.
Okay,
So
all
let me
right,
just okay. So let me be talking.
all right, okay.
So now, I remember in 2016, and I went for, I was, yeah, 2016, yeah. I went for a particular in training with, is it at Prestige or one of these big names, then, as a school leader. And one of the things that we concluded in that training was that the 21st century learner will be more knowledgeable than the teachers. This was in 2016, 9 years ago. And why did we say that? We said that because with the way knowledge, the children that were giving birth to, well, now that was way back 2016, I'm telling you, that they are digital natives. We are digital migrants. If you're my age, 40 plenty years, and maybe 30 plenty years, you're a digital migrant. You migrated into the digital era, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the children we are teaching were born in the digital era. So they are the digital natives. They are the digital citizens. The way you japa from Nigeria to Canada, from Jamaica to Canada, or from Ghana to US, that is the way we japa from the analog to the digital. So we are migrants. We japa into we japa into the digital era. Now, the children we have, they are just like the way if you jump to Canada, whether you have gotten your citizenship or not, once you give birth to a child here, the child becomes a citizen. That is the
Mm-hmm.
way the children you gave birth in the digital era are digital natives. They are digital citizens. So when you migrated and when you are born into it, they are two different things. When you
Yes.
jump into a place like we jump, there are things you begin to learn. When you are born into a place, there are things that are bestowed on you, that are conferred on you just by being born. That is the simple. I'm just trying to analyze this for people that are 40 plenty years like me to understand that. So when you're saying your children, how come they are they are digital natives? They were born into it, so the right and responsibility and everything, the right of it and everything has been confirmed on them because they were born with this. Before you even gave birth to them, you don't photo shoot and share with the world. The day you are giving birth to them, so they were born. So as they were born, they were seeing this. We did not see this. We migrated into seeing this. So
Mm-hmm.
our usage will be totally different. The way
Definitely.
we do things will be totally different. So when they say that the truth that the in 2016, I was just saying that I was in a training in Abuja, Nigeria, where we concluded in that training that the 21st century students will be more knowledgeable than the 21st century teachers.
Yes,
One is they were
that's very
born
true.
into digital world. Number two,
Mm-hmm.
their parents have the wherewithal for them to travel for summer.
Mm-hmm.
In January, our parents already buy tickets against summer in July.
Do
So
you know
now,
the,
how
the
does a
the
teacher
the truth
in
of the
Anyimba?
matter? The truth of the matter is that the parents do not even have to have the wherewithal. The parents do not need to have money. All they need to have, if that child has access to the internet, access to phone, they can
Yeah,
virtually travel to anywhere in this world.
travel.
They
Yeah,
don't even
I
need
agree
to
with that.
physically be there to have
Yeah, I agree with that. But
an
I also
understanding
know
of
that
how
there are
things
parents
goes
that
on.
also have. Yeah, but I agree with that. But I also know that compared to our time and now, more children go on summer than when we during our time. More children they go for
Mm-hmm.
summer and all. Yeah. So even with there's the internet on the one side, and there's also their parents having the wherewithal for them to also travel. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you a teacher in Anyimba, somebody say, Irene, why do you like to call Anyimba? I don't even know why. But the name sounds like somewhere that is far. I know my people will soon come for me. I beg you. So you, maybe you that is in a teacher in a Colombia, how
Mm-hmm.
do you now you're teaching a child who has traveled to London for summer, who has a smartphone, and in their house they have internet 24 hours. Then you, the teacher, that is why I say now we get to the teacher's role. Teachers in the 21st century, yes, we know that you don't have the money as much as the money to go for summer, but you have this smartphone like your student.
Mm-hmm.
What portals are you subscribing to?
Exactly.
Because you see them, they are watching Z World, people that are not speaking English, and you are an English teacher. You are watching people that are not speaking English.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 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 oh. How? Because it's what you feed yourself, you bring out.
Exactly.
You're subscribing to Telemundo. Now, you're not even subscribing to Teachers Without Borders, all those kind of platforms where your fellow teachers are. Your teacher, a teacher in US, in California, they say, Madam, California is burning. Why do you have to call that? Okay, a teacher in New York, and it is now a without borderless teaching,
Mm-hmm.
borderless, where you are able to connect with them. So that your 2,500 data, instead of watching Z World and Telemundo and home video that will take you nowhere, why don't you use it to subscribe to global platform, global teaching
Mm-hmm.
platform, where you're exchanging ideas, where you're asking, okay,
Exactly.
so what's the curriculum like? Oh, in our curriculum, what we don't have this, you now begin to learn. See, it is so easy to get information now. And I still
Exactly.
don't know why our teachers are still left behind. Just like they said, salvation too is free, but you buy Bible. The same way you say, okay, that that it's easy to get information, but you need to buy your data. And when you get that your data, don't think it's the school you're doing a favor to. See, it's
It's
your personal
yourself.
development.
Yes.
You say,
Self-improvement.
after all, school did not give me data. Why should I use the data I have instead of me? Let me go and watch Ramsey. No, what would that add to your career? What would that add to the children? That is the only way you can meet up with the children you're teaching right now. Because by the
Mm-hmm.
time they start, do you know that I heard where a teacher was saying that there are 5 continents? I mean, the teacher said no, ma, that the other
Yes,
continent,
now.
Pluto is no longer
Children
a
are now
and
correcting
the
us.
teacher was like, the teacher said yes. Do you want me to Google it for you? What are we saying? Teachers, even that your 2,500 data, if you can use it well, you find out that you would have amassed so much knowledge. You will connect with even other teachers outside your jurisdiction, outside Ekulobia, or outside Animba, or
Ayingba.
outside Nyanya, or outside Guarimpa. You will
Mm-hmm.
connect with them, and you're hearing global, because some of the things we do in the classroom, truly, the world has left too many Nigerian teachers. I will still get to the one of homework. So, for parents, unpacking for the parents, I want to finish with parents unpacking so that Ivy has very this thing about mental health to really, really download the mental health matter for them. She's in UK, so they always talk about mental health there.
This is your new Kai.
I like the way they call it, UK. When I went to speak in Oxford, well, I was just doing my hair like this. They say, you're welcome to your time. I said, it's all right. So now let's talk about the meals that parents give their children to school as well. We're talking about partnering for academic success.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain meals that should not find its way in your children's lunchbox 2025. Number one, fizzy drink. Fizzy drink. You know, when I was a school director, there was a time I did 1 week no sugar week.
Mm.
No sugar. You're not taking any fizzy drink. It was the parents that came to fight me. It's not even the children. No. It's not
Mm-hmm.
even the children that came to my office to know. It was the parents. Why should my child not take, let me not call their all those product names. Why should my child not drink? She cannot stay without drinking that. I said, Madam, she will not die. Give her water. This week we're
Mm-hmm.
drinking water. Let them eat their food and drink water. It's still fashionable to drink water than taking this other. Hey, I said it was parents. The struggle was with parents. Even the children, when you go to their class and explain no sugar, some of them will go, okay, no, okay. He's the
Mm-hmm.
parent. Now, research has shown that fizzy drinks, taking too many fizzy drinks, actually impact learning and memory
It
function.
does. Mm-hmm.
It can impair the brain to function normally and to remember things. So you have spent 500,000 to pay school fees, then 50,000 to buy fizzy drinks. Now, the 50,000 is going to counter the 500,000 in the long run because your child is taking this thing every day. And you know that some children bring two to school? I'm not kidding you. There
Mm-hmm.
was a time I became lunchbox police now. Open your lunchbox. Let me see. From gate to what do you have there? So you have the one that will take short break, you have the one that will take a long break. Apart from the fact that junior is hyperactive, after taking that second one, it's all over the class. The fact that you are also impairing in their learning. So you suffer to get school fees, and then at the same time, you're using your own money to counter the school fees. So the child is
Mm-hmm.
not learning well, is impairing their memory because every day you're packing 2 packs of fizzy drinks for them. 2025, repent. Over to you, Isaac.
You know this thing about food. You know, we can actually be true to ourselves because we're also parents now. So it's not that well, the challenge is a lot. Okay, so when I was in Enugu, the issues were these. You know, to have a very healthy diet, they say it's for rich people because um all these sugar-free things are not cheap, apart from water. If you really want to. Uh-huh. So when you get into conversations with parents, it was like fizzy drinks are the easiest thing that you can. You As you're coming to school, people on wheelbarrows, they are pushing these things through your window as you are bringing your children to school. So it's something that you can just easily buy. Just hold up, just carry. If you have 4 children, just buy 4 cokes and put it in their boxes. It was the easiest thing to do, and the fact that it's easy doesn't mean it's good. So this conversation is good because at the end of the day, it's something we have to purposefully do. Understand that this does not help the child at all. There was even a case of, you are talking about physics. There was a case of a boy. He was so big, very huge. So I used to, and school starts at 8, but by 8:45 he's already sleeping. You know, So I called the mom. I said, I really need to see you about this because it's actually affecting him. He's a happy learner. He wants to learn, but he's always sleeping. So I said, what does this child eat before coming to school? And she said he eats rice with meat and plantain. Ah. She said sometimes he
Ah,
eats okpa with pap and some other things. I said to come to school, no wonder he sleeps. 8:45, this boy is ready to sleep till 12, and it's not his fault. But it's the parent. She feels
yeah,
he's going to school. Let her feed him so that, he's
that's
strong and he's ready
energy.
to learn. But it was affecting his learning. So it's a conversation that we should have with parents that it's not we're not trying to, like you said, we're not trying to tell you in quotes how to raise your child, but we're trying to tell you that if you really want the best for your child, you have to watch it. If you cannot afford drinks that don't have sugar, okay, give the child water. You know, I was so blessed growing up. I'm my first child. The rest of them, I don't know where they went to get the sick. But my first son, he didn't grow up taking sugar and things like that. So he'd rather things like carrots, cucumber, and things like that. So for me, it was a total blessing. It was when I now had other children that I knew the power of, parents being able to like stand your ground and say, you see this Coke, you're not gonna have it, blah blah blah. So it's a lifestyle we have to slowly develop for the sake of our children. It's not helping them. So I must make every effort to make sure that my children go to school with healthy meals, very healthy meals. Here in the UK, if you try them, go to school, carry fizzy drinks and crisps and things that I bring in the bag, you will have a letter from the school telling you, warning you about the health choices you're making for your child by bringing that kind of food to school. So it's this thing we're talking about communication, about partnering with the school. If you could tell the children, okay, let's do 1 week without sugar and let's see how it plays out. It's something that parents should be in agreement with, because ultimately it's for the benefit of the child. It's for the success of the child. If the child is able to cut down on the sugars, they don't have attention issues, they're not hyperactive, because then their blood sugar level, things are just working well and they're able to learn better. So this is for the progress of the child. We accommodate this. If it's not for the progress of the child, you throw it away. So like we've been trying to establish, since these are conversations we should have continued to have, so that parents on their own will decide that, okay, fine, this is something I have to do. It's not something I have to want me to do and constantly remind me, but for the sake of my child, for the sake of their health, I have to watch what they eat in school, even out
Yeah,
of school. It's not that I'll say, since the school they're saying no drinks from Monday to Friday they would, but when they on Saturday, the amount of loading of soda and this, I'll give them, it will make up for the rest of the week.
okay. And
you
that
know.
reminds me, this thing you said about a boy, when I was also a school director, there was this boy too that sleep. Of course, there were a couple of them that used to sleep, but this boy's one was really bad. By that kind of assembly finishes maybe 8:05 or something. By 8:15, 8:20, Tochukwu was already sleeping. It was
Mm-hmm.
that bad. And I had to call the mom, you know. So what? And the mom says the same thing everybody eats. I said, see, you have to understand every child and then understand the quantity. She now said, oh, he drinks pap with moi moi in the morning, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, ma, see, to start with, personally, pap is a recipe for sleeping for me too, as an
Yes, no.
adult. But I know it's a staple for most parents for to take in the morning. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have that conversation what they put in it. But could it be in little quantity? Just a little, you know,
You see,
because that's why it's called breakfast. A child is eating it at 7 something in the morning, you know. It's
yes.
because
Mm.
like in Nigeria, school starts at assembly starts at 7:35 or something, you know. So it's seven, so and that child has eaten this thing before coming. So it's breakfast small. Even if it's just a tea, it's not
Small,
something
yes.
you load. Then even the plate. I remember I was also having a conversation about plate size then. And these children in early years, their plates were this huge, you know, and the meal will be so much. Then this
Mm-hmm.
chunk of meat that is like someone's head for a child that is like this, my little Uchechi, 3 years old, that is not yet three. And then the child is trying to cut this. There was even one that the meat flew, did a somersault
Mm-hmm.
in the air, you know. And I asked the parents, I called the parents. See, and again, it also stems from this. I think we need to also look at our competitive, what are our values? What do we really stand for? Um, um, See, if we remove competition from the things that we do as parents, we'll have the best of results. Because
Yeah.
I now discovered that okay, when I started doing some research, and this child will say, that the child, this person's meat was very big, the chicken was very big, that kind of thing. So I told the mother, cut it into little chunks, you know. But again, you want to just make sure that let it be when they open that the teachers are having. Now I'm coming to teachers again. That teachers discuss with themselves that this person's food is not very good, that this person's parents bring better food and all. I don't think that has ever been part of the job description of a teacher to discuss the parents that brought, like, giving their child,
Mm.
bigger meat, bigger chicken, bigger whatever. I don't think that has been part of the job description. That will also bring us to school leaders. So as we leave the conversation for meals, the quantity, the quality,
Mm-hmm.
the fizzy drink. I told my children then, there was a time I used to say fruit week, and I gave my daughter, I don't know if it's Deborah here that I gave her garden egg, and she said, "Mommy, they laugh at me if I eat garden egg in school. I want apple, apple, you know." So we
Mm.
we demonize. So because we are making look at him, what garden egg is not. I said garden egg
Yeah,
is
it's
good.
not funky.
Even I said, yeah, it's not funky. I said when they bring out your own garden egg and eat. Eat it the way they are eating their apple. And it's not because I couldn't afford apple. It just makes children understand that it's okay to be you and take what you have.
Mm-hmm.
So Instead of fizzy drinks, do you know that it's even cheaper to buy some of this? Yeah, I know you say, yeah, fizzy drink might be cheaper or whatever. It's cheaper to buy water. It's cheaper to take water, you know. Again, our advising you against fizzy drink is not because we don't want you to do what you want, but even research has shown that it impairs learning over time. So as
It
that child
does.
keeps
It
taking
does.
this thing every day, you're already defeating the 500,000 naira school fees with 500 naira fizzy drink every day. So your
Exactly.
school is better you don't even send the child to school because the child is not going to be learning well because there's a lot of sugar going into the system. Then the quantity of the food, and all. I think let's not spend so much time there. We have he that has ears, let him hear
Let
what the
him
spirit is
be.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
Lesson. What is the role of lesson in 2025? Ivy, I have
Mm.
thought about lesson. I have thought about lesson as a parent. I have thought about lesson as a school director. I have thought about lesson as a school consultant, and I'm still fighting about lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I say that all these things that you're getting lesson teacher, it is not, once school starts, you just see parents shopping for lesson teacher. And I tell them that lesson is an intervention.
Definitely.
And anything
Mm-hmm.
that is an intervention is time bound for a specific need.
Yes.
Now, and before you even engage a lesson teacher, you and the school leaders have diagnosed that your child is lacking in this area. I said, oh, maybe your child was brought in, there were some layers of learning your child missed, maybe in early years or early whatever. She's not really reading well, or he's not reading well with at par with people in grade three. So I recommend lesson for 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then you shop for a lesson teacher that is appropriate. It just lesson is an intervention. You don't go to hospital when you are not sick.
Exactly.
You don't tell a doctor to give you injection when you are not sick. You don't hire a lesson teacher for a child that does not have issue. Lesson is an intervention, and I will keep saying it. Lesson is not the way you just start and every month there's a lesson teacher attached to your child. No, that's codependency. You're raising your child in the wrong way.
Definitely.
If your
Mm-hmm.
child does not have any issue that needs intervention, let the child get home, do the homework and whatever. I know Nigerian parents now, even when you say intervention, they tell you what do you mean, even to help. No. And that intervention is not going to be diagnosed by just you alone. It's you and the school leaders. Oh, we discovered that she is not doing well in this area. Probably there's something she needs. Then we
Yeah.
recommend this, and then you now hire a lesson teacher for that. Other than that, my son used lesson teacher at some point. It was intervention. My daughter, I never hired for my first daughter, I never hired lesson teacher for 1 day. In fact, it was a lesson I had for the son, for the brother that was now doing, oh, let's add her to, because she never needed it. So
Yeah.
when your child doesn't need it, teach your child that lesson. I know they'll be like, and then coming to lesson again, Ivy, before you respond, it's also the fact that some parents go and look for lesson teachers that are their children's teacher in school.
Yeah. So
It is ethically and morally wrong for you to be the one to teach this child in school and still come home to teach this child and still be the one. You are the judge and the whatever over your case. You're the one that is going to. You're the one giving the child the exam, marking the script. You're the one teaching the child in school. You're the one teaching the child at home. And parents who do this, please, can you deceive? I know some parents, when I was a school director, they specifically come and look for the teacher that is teaching their child to hire as a lesson teacher. And they do it very early, immediately school is starting. That
yes.
September,
So
who is going to teach her, which they want to hire that person. You're not even helping your child. I don't even want to go into the conversation I had with a particular parent that after we made a circular that no teacher should teach any child you teach in school, you don't teach the person at home. It became a policy. And this teacher still went, the parent and the teacher connived and they still taught this child. So, and what I brought about at the point was cross marking. Now, if you set the exam for this child, you're in grade three, you are not going to mark the child, the grade three. Let grade four teacher mark that child or grade two teacher. Of course, there's a marking scheme, so we know what the marking scheme is. Now, this teacher that didn't like this, of course, make sure it marked according to the marking scheme. And this child didn't do well. The mother called me, and that was when she started. Do you know that it's Miss this, that is teaching him in lesson, teaching him at home? She taught him in school, she taught him at home, and still did not do well. I said,
Can
Madam, come again.
imagine.
What did you say? Parents, this is 2025. Desist from it. Ivy, over to you.
Yeah, this issue of lesson, Iron, I'm with you on board. I mean, similar thoughts here. My, I am so lesson teachers are for intervention. I totally agree with that. But I'm not I'm not one of those parents that agrees with lesson teachers at all, because I believe that the sole responsibility of the school is to educate the child academically. Also, the child will have social interactions. That these are things that help build up the child and prepare the child for life. I also believe that children have different learning capacities and abilities, and sometimes the first thing I look at, if a child, whether my child or a child in my school is having issues, that would need these interventions, is how is the child's learning ability? Are they able to learn the way that their class teacher is teaching them? Is there an issue with how that particular topic was presented or that particular subject first, before I begin to think of whether the person needs extra lessons on that? Because the thing is, if it's the child's not being taught properly, then we are just getting lesson teachers. The problem goes nowhere. They'll still go back to that teacher, and that problem persists. So you just have lesson teachers upon lesson teachers. When the issue is that the child was not actually taught properly, there were not enough things for the child to work on, in terms of maybe it was not given enough practice. Let's say in math is always the main issue with lesson teachers. I mean, we get a lesson teacher for math because our child is not doing well in math, and we just throw these lesson teachers at them, and then we're okay, so how's my child doing now in math, and say the child's not any better. The thing is, I always see it this way, and I think that's what has helped me with my children. I don't, my expectations are this: if your teacher has done what they are supposed to do, me at home too, I've helped you out with homework. And as a parent, I will tell if my child is just maybe unable to understand this thing at a particular level. And then what I need to do is, the intervention will now be, okay, so what other ways can we help this child to understand this thing? Rather than getting a lesson teacher and it's not going to work out. I think there's certain things that has to be addressed before we now just jump into lesson teacher matter.
Okay,
And like this thing you're
okay,
saying, having my lesson teacher the same as your teacher, I mean, what's so teachers, that means they hold all the power. If I want extra money, all I need to do is just maybe tell the parent, this child's not really doing well in math, but I can teach them. I can come to the house and teach them math. All that time you spend with them in school, 8 hours, you're not able to get this child to understand something. So when you come to my house 3 times a week, that's when the child will not
in the
understand it.
afternoon when the child is already tired.
Honestly, for me as a parent, I don't accommodate that kind of thing, because what the heck, what are you telling me? So all this time this child is spending with you in class, you're not able to, because what I tell my is, even here, what I tell my when I meet with my children's teachers, like if they tell me my child is having a problem in one subject, I try to say, okay, so what are the issues? So sometimes they tell me, it's because your son doesn't actually listen in class. He's just very distracted. Okay, so what are the distractions? What are causing the distractions? Change the seats. Do this. There are many things that we could do to help that child learn better. Maybe move them from back to front. Then there will be no need for lesson teacher, because the child will now be able to concentrate better, learn better, things like that. So there are many other
Okay, but
interventions besides
okay,
lesson teachers that
Ivy,
we should explore.
okay,
Uh-huh.
yeah, but even in the getting of lesson teacher, because I said it's an intervention. You don't go to hospital when you're not ill.
Yes.
You bring yourself before the doctor, because you're ill and you need medication. Now, it has also be the right doctor. You cannot be
Mm-hmm.
needing a pediatrician and you take the child to a gynecologist.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. So because I also see this happen with parents. Your child is having you see a parent has three children and say, I'm bringing one lesson teacher to teach them. The teacher can teach math and English. Any teacher that can teach math most times cannot teach English. Any teacher that teaches English cannot teach math. And this is experience now. It's not something we do every day in the class. Because
Mm-hmm.
even a proper school hires a specialist in math and a specialist in English to teach
Mm-hmm.
subject teaching in a proper school. They make sure that even from primary school, they're making sure that this person has background enough in English language and this one
Mm-hmm.
has background enough in mathematics to teach it. Then you, the parents, you are the one that diagnose problem by yourself. You are the one that is hiring. You are the doctor. You are the this. So you're hiring. The child needs brain surgery. You're bringing a pediatrician or you're bringing a
Mm.
gynae.
Yes,
Does
no,
it work that way?
physiotherapy self.
Physiotherapy. So if the child, okay, we've agreed that the intervention is the child needs certain layers of learning, maybe in early years, and then you need to cover that whatever, maybe from the background that the child was coming from and everything. Then you must get someone who is an expert in reading, in teaching reading, in phonetics, in decoding sound, in blending words. You're not going to bring someone, yeah, they say, yeah, because he can teach him math and it doesn't work.
Do you
When
know,
my son
apart
had
from that,
issue, I brought someone for this biology or Z whatever, and then another one for mathematics. There was no meeting point. Everybody was doing theirs, and then he recovered. And when the intervention was over, he did well.
mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying that it's not. So you don't go and just bring is the teacher you just bring. No, it has to be tailored. Intervention are programs that are time bound and they are tailored towards a specific challenge. So if the challenge is
But
reading, you bring
don't
somebody
you
for
think
reading.
the problem we have as parents is the fact that, this thing about any lesson teacher that is just solely in this thing for the money will not agree with this statement that you've made now, that the thing is time
Because
bound and something. They'll tell you, no, this thing is a process. We have to take them through
that is
so that
why
there's not
I have a
continuity with
I
the
have a
monies that
course
they're
I
getting.
did.
Mm.
I have a course. I called it 12 things to do when hiring a lesson teacher for intervention. Parents, if you need it, I'm going to set up my marketplace so that parents can. It's
Mm-hmm.
very cheap. It's less than $5 or $10, and Nigerian money is less than 10,000 or about that. So it's not. I said 12 things you should do. When when my son had challenge and I brought a lesson teacher, I asked, well, we start together. This is what we are covering. These are the areas we have established with the school
Mm-hmm.
is a problem. So we start together, draw your program. When you're one of the things I wrote in that course that if you need is you need to have a course outline. That's what I did. You have a course outline. This is what we are covering for this challenge. And when it was over, you go. So it's also because parents do not want to listen to and they enjoy it. For parents, sometimes it's status symbol. I have lesson teacher is coming for my child on Saturday
Mm-hmm.
and all. Invest that time in extracurricular activity. Invest that time. Let it be that your child is using that time to learn swimming, to learn cooking, craft, barbing, even welding. Just invest that time you're thinking you're using for lesson. Because a child has been in school for 8 hours, comes back from the child is tired. Ivy, time is going. I beg this conversation. Let's move to homework. How much
Ah.
homework is too much in 2025? Because I see, hey, they will load homework for
Oh
a child
God.
that is 3 years. See my Uchechi now, if she was in Nigeria, and they would have given her,
I
me and her
hate
would be
homework
sweating
more
this
than the
Saturday
child
morning.
self. You know. I'm telling you.
Me and my daughter Uchechi would have been sweating this morning now, where we are trying to write. Uchechi, hold this pen now. Hey, right? How much homework? Because even teachers do not realize that there's a principle behind homework. You don't
Yeah,
there
definitely.
is you even yeah, they don't know that there's best practices for homework. And I'm going to have a full video on that. Watch out for it.
Please,
I'm
you
going to do a
should.
1 hour
You do
video
you
on
know
homework.
the what started this homework matter? It's with the parents. Because I have been bombarded with, I mean, the teacher is not giving my child enough homework. You know, why is, I mean, as early
That's one group of parents.
as
So
nursery one,
another
oh,
group of parents, my teacher is giving too much. The teacher is giving
wait
too
now,
much.
nursery one, they will say they want homework, they want homework. Now, the teacher too, wanting to please now, when they say, ah, you're not giving my child enough homework, they'll go and manufacture all sorts of. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, they don't have enough time to even mark it or go over it. So they're just
Yes.
sending homework to the house and not having enough time to. So at the end of the day, the thing is, it's totally useless. I mean, what is the primary purpose for homework now? So there are many
Yeah.
beneficial skills um, children can get from homework. That's being able to
Homework.
learn independently, you know, things like that, being able to manage time. And there are things like that. It has its good purpose. But
Discipline.
are these the reasons why we're giving the homework? Are we giving the homework just so that we won't look like lazy teachers? You know, are we giving them the homework for the right reasons? Now, when it comes to how much homework is, it's just being very reasonable. If a child spends 8 hours in school, another 8 hours to sleep, I mean, for a child to have a healthy sleep, it should be about 8 hours. So that leaves another 8 hours, and the homework that we give them, maybe it's 4 hours of that one that they have to do it. Then they don't have family time and all those other things. That's really raising a very unwholesome child, because there are other interactions the child should have besides school and academics that helps the child grow well. When I was in my children's school, I've always tried to maintain a good relationship with my school, any school that my children are in. In fact, I push myself into the school. I go to volunteer. Then at a point in time, I was even working in the school my children was in, because I always want to know what's going on with my children. And these are children that will be with me for the rest of my life. So now is the time that I should be involved. So I was really involved in it. I went and I told the teacher one time, I said, see, I bring these children here in the morning. I drive all the way from Kubwa to Wuse too. It takes me about, when the roads were very bad, it takes me about 2 hours. But now, thank God for good luck, Jonathan has reduced to how many hours now? Less than an hour. So I bring them to school. Then after school, I have some consultancies I do. So ultimately, I take my children there from school. I go there. Then I go home. Then days we have church. You know, in Nigeria, we are very churchy now. So we go to church. And then the
Mm.
next day, we repeat this whole thing again. So I said, I don't have time for homework. Oh, because ultimately, what will happen is that I will just take my children's homework, use my left hand and do it. So I don't think it's their handwriting, which will not be good for them. It's not good for me. So if you are giving my child homework, because I work in the school and I don't close until about 4 5, that time the child sits down and does the homework. So it's more or less classwork and not homework. I told them, I said, my child does not have time to do homework at home. If you have to give homework, understand that my child will do it in school under some kind of supervision, but I do not have time for homework. So this was some kind of arrangement I made with them. And I think they understood that. So what they now did was that all staff children, they will gather them in one room and it was homework time, they do it. Because you have to appreciate the fact that it's not every child that goes home and has that free hand
So, but
to be
Ivy,
doing homework.
that is because you are in that school. Now I'm talking of the general. See, there is an international best practice for homework. See,
Yes, there is.
and it's because teachers have not really actually looked at it. Like, if you look at, and even the school leaders, because it's not even just the teachers pushing out those things, early years, you're not even supposed to give homework.
You're not.
Children are just supposed to go back and read the sign, all the line, what's that, their, for Jolly Funnies, um,
Mm-hmm.
and on my arm, and all those their songs. They just go back and be singing it at home, whatever it is. Avocado, all those their whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is what they're supposed to do. Grade one, you shouldn't give homework that is more than 10 to 20 minutes. And any homework you're giving, the child should be able to do the homework by his or because it's the child you taught with minimal supervision. So the question of giving children homework that the parents are the one doing it has defeated the aim of homework itself.
Totally
It's
defeated it.
already 11 o'clock. I'm going, this conversation continues. It has defeated the aim of the homework. So the quantity of the homework and the ability of the child to be able to do the homework also matters. So it's with
Definitely.
minimum supervision. So you don't just give homework, you taught a child long division without carrying. Then you now give the child homework, long division with carrying and
Mm-hmm.
remainder. What
No,
is
you
that?
see, that's the thing we're talking about. They are linked because lesson teachers are now the ones responsible for helping the child with that homework. Meanwhile, it was supposed to be the job of the
Exactly.
teachers. You see,
Yeah.
it's that thing, and it's just totally wrong.
It's a
You
vicious
know,
circle. So if you
homework
taught a
is
child
to reinforce classroom learning.
what
It's
has
to
been
reinforce
learned,
it, not to learn something new. But like you
so you've
said,
taught
I
me
think it's if you have
two by two.
it's a wonderful thing that you're doing, that you have these things, probably that people can actually just key into, buy, and improve, because these are things that on and on. I mean, these are issues we've been dealing with for years now. And of course, it needs to end. Teachers need to understand that
This is
homework is
2025.
good, but then what is
Is
too much homework? You should be able to tell, okay, this is too much for this child. This child is even unable to do this, so why am I throwing it back at the parents? you
so I
know
have gone to work. I am back trying to get money to pay the so-called school fee and every. Then you
and,
now bring,
and, and-
and then you learned two division without brackets or whatever. Now
mm,
they're adding brackets for you and outside with square. Where you thought no, even Jesus cannot. I mean, they gave you Bible to read. So everything that is coming out from Bible.
mm-hmm,
How would you now bring something that is outside what you have taught the child? So this is something school leaders should look at. This is something teachers and school leaders should sit down and look at. And parents should also engage the school in the right approach. Because there's this approach of you just march to school. I don't like this thing. No, I don't. No, 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 no. You want to resolve the issue. Don't come to fight. When we go
mm-hmm.
for well, another day, I'm going to do PTA meeting. What do we go? What do we even do in PTA? Go.
Thank you. That one is very, very, very important,
What,
because when we're talking about
what
partnerships,
do
it's
we?
not to partner to buy new school bus. I mean,
Um,
do you know that's
what do we
basically.
do in PTA?
I attended PTA meetings in my children's school, and I was so tired, because we don't discuss anything sensible. We just discuss, they want to acquire new school bus, they want to buy tank for the school, they want to it's what they want to do, and it's all monetary, how the parents can come together to raise money for a particular project that's going on. That's just basically what PTA was all about. And so it just I think it's generally our mindset. Are we there for our children to be great achievers? Education in itself is what prepares children for life. So the school, the parents, we're partnering to prepare these children for life in every aspect, socially, academically, mentally. And so our interactions, our partnering must be beneficial for all parties involved. What good is the PTA getting boss when we still have these issues of homework, lesson teacher, and all these things are not dealt
So
with?
that's the point. So I,
you
I
know
I'm going to have a conversation where we're going to look at PTA. Why do we have PTA? What is the aim itself? Because I also have PTAs where parents are just coming come and fight about school fees that day. So they're not even talking about the well children whether they've learned or not. They're
Definitely.
just coming
Uh-huh.
to fight the school that the school fees, and all that. And like I say, I have a different total view about school fees. If you feel that a school you can't afford it. Personally, for me, that's how I operate. I move you. So it's not something I'm coming to fight you about because it's your business. It's just like I don't want to go to Walmart. Walmart is more expensive. I go to superstore. I leave superstore. I go to fresh. It's a choice. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to enter ShopRite. Let me go to Taco and buy it. So I cannot now say I'm using PTA. That's the day everybody bringing dagger to come and fight. Instead of you to think of coming to now know how do our children learn better. So
Mm-hmm.
all those, and like I say, that even in school fees, I'm still going to talk about that. It's not every expensive school that is good for your child. And what is the best school for your child? The best school is the school you can afford to pay without your child being sent home, and
Mm-hmm.
you still have the time to contribute to your child's learning. So if you are
Mm-hmm.
in a school where you're paying 10 million, you can afford to pay it, but you don't have the time to look into what your child is doing. It's not also a good school for your child. If because it has to be a school that you can afford to pay and you still have the time, because the affordability should not make you not have time because you're looking for the money to pay it,
Mm-hmm.
not to be a part of the child's learning. So both of them have to. That's the best school for your child. The best school is the school that you can afford to pay and you have the time to contribute to your child's learning. That's how I define the best school for your child. So that even if it's 50,000 naira school, yes, and I still have time to partake in what my child is doing, that's the best school. Oh, we have to go. Ivy,
Um, see how 1 hour just passed by really quickly.
we didn't finish so many things, but this
Yeah,
conversation
man, we didn't.
continues. Yeah. It continues. I'm looking at a day we're going to be unpacking just one lesson. We just take that day, if it is lesson teacher we are dealing with, we talk about
Mm.
it. People, real time, people ask questions. If it is PTA, if it's school leaders, because we don't even talk about school leaders, hiring of teachers. Do you do background check like you were telling me the last time? All
Mm-hmm.
those now schools are hiring
Please,
pedophiles, they
we
don't
must
even
do
know
one
they're
about
hiring pedophiles.
mental health, though, because that's very
Yes, we
crucial.
do about
Because these
yeah,
days, what we're going through in Nigeria,
growth.
and this thing, it's affecting
Yeah.
people negatively, and it plays
Yeah.
out in
Look at the
classrooms.
teacher
It
in
plays out in
Ikorodu
school spaces
that
as
beat
well.
that 3-year-old child last week. The
Yes, those
teacher
are
that has been
issues. I mean,
trending.
those are real
3 years
issues.
old. Yes, these are really beat up a
Real
3-year-old because the
issues.
3-year-old was not writing. And
Why
I was
should a
just looking at my
3-year-old
own
be
chechi.
writing? These are
I
questions that
was
we
not
must
looking
ask
at my own
ourselves.
chechi that was supposed to
Why
be free.
should a
I said, is that how
3-year-old
they
be
would have
writing?
beaten her for me? Eh? Now
When
they
the
be beating
teacher
my own
was free, was
chechi.
she writing?
That my own chechi is not writing. Okay, thank you so much for joining. Chantella, thank you. Thank you, Ruth. Others who are watching on Facebook, thank you for joining. I truly appreciate. We're going to be having this conversation subsequently. I'm going to be announcing. I have set up another Facebook, Cresville Academy Educational Consultancy. I'll send the invite. So it will be like a closed group. People can go there. You read up materials on
Yeah,
education,
that'd be good.
on teaching, and things like that, just to make you better. And when we have paid products, I have done I have a course on understanding your child's learning style, understanding and assessing it. It was a huge course I did in 2023. I had participants from US, from Canada. Then I was in Nigeria. People joined. And it was really nice. I still
Mm-hmm.
have it. I'll open up sometime this year. I have 12 things. Let's say I have the one on special needs. Children that have learning difficulties as well. So all these things are things that you have free resource, you have some paid one, but the point is we want to make sure that learning outcome is better. We're still going to talk about
Definitely.
homeschooling too. Homeschooling in 2025, what does it portend for the future of the child? So we're going to look at homeschooling as well in subsequent conversations. But thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Ivy, thank you for joining me. I know you are busy. Please
Thank
go
you
back
so
to
much,
what you were
Eric, for
doing.
having me. Thank you, and well done.
Yeah,
You're doing such wonderful work. Eh? You're
thank
doing
you.
such wonderful work, and for
Thank
as a
you.
parent, as a school owner, as everything, just thank you so much. You make the job
Thank
easier
you.
for everyone by just opening
Yeah.
our minds to these things. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. My regards to your family.
I will tell them.
Tell them they are
Okay.
auntie before the OG before the IG.
The OG before the IG. And my love to everyone on your
Okay,
end too. Okay.
okay, bye.
All right. Thank you.